Welcome to Computer Fundamental Fridays, brought to you by the Tennessee District Attorney's General Conference Technology Training Department. This training is going to be an overview of Microsoft PowerPoint. Really just want to go over the application, help you put together your own PowerPoint presentation, and really show you what this application is all about. As you can see on screen, I have a slide in the navigation bar on the left. And this is a picture. It's a picture with text, which is a text box, an image, etc. Let's go ahead. I want to close this out. We'll open up a blank one. So this is what you will want to do if you currently have or are looking at a template. We're going to click on File, we'll go Home. Whenever you first open PowerPoint, you're going to see something similar to this, minus any of these files in the Recent tab. Up top, you have templates that are directly available to you at any time. All you have to do is click on one. It will open that template up and give you the opportunity to make changes to it, do whatever you want to. If you want to search for more themes, click on the link for that, and hopefully you'll find some templates that will give you the advantage of using what is pre-existing versus creating your own. In our case, we're going to go ahead and create our own. So I'm going to click on Blank Presentation. And directly here, this is where you're going to want to begin to kind of get an idea of exactly what you're wanting to present, how you're wanting to do it. We're going to copy slides. We're going to make a template that will be used throughout each slide. So instead of a blank, what you're seeing right now, a blank template, instead of that being the theme, we're going to try to put a background image on it, make it our own, add text, do a variety of things to it. So what I do is I initially, from the very beginning, I just delete these, I'll add them back. Sounds like an extra step, that's just the way I prefer to do it. I'm going to go to the Insert tab, and I'm going to click Insert, Pictures, and we shall go to our desktop. Then click on PowerPoint. Directly from here, I believe we're going to use this computer image as our background. Let's go ahead and make the selection for it. Highlight it. You can double click it. Click on Insert. You'll notice the dimension of the image is not the same as the slide. So this is where you're going to need to make a few changes. Over to the right, you'll see design ideas, and feel free to click on these. If you like a design that's presented, you can click on that. You can see right here, this one automatically has done the cropping for us. If we were to select that, boom, we're done. I like that. So it makes it very efficient and simple for you. What we're going to do, because this is going to be the background template of our individual slides that we're going to use, I'm going to want to lighten this so when I begin to add text, bullet points, etc., you'll be able to see them. All you need to do is right click on the image, go down to Format Picture. Over to the right, you see the Format Picture options, and what we're going to select first is Picture. We're going to select Picture Transparency, and there are some pre-built defaults already, or presets, available to you here right inside this feature. We'll go to Transparency 50%. Looks pretty good. Let's do a transparency. Let's go one lower. 65%, and yeah, I think that'll be the one that we choose. So we shall have this blank slide. From here, what I do, I would just go ahead over on the left hand side, simply right click on that thumbnail and then left click duplicate slide. That way when it comes time, if I have a different, whether I add video or subtitle or text, etc., everything will be free from that as I apply it to the first slide. So I'm on slide number 1, as you can see that based on the number 1, number 2. I'm going to need to insert some text, so get familiar with using the tabs up top. We're going to be switching back and forth between the majority of them. We'll cover exactly what they are. I'm going to need to first click on the Insert tab, and I'm going to go all the way over to where it says Text. We'll click on Text Box. And this is where we will get our first text box placed on slide number 1. So all you have to do to size that is click where you want to begin, hold down your mouse or trackpad, and then size it to the end of where you want to let it go, and then let go, and that will allow you to adjust the size. Now if you want to make it larger or smaller, you have each of these circular controls that allow you to expand based on the value. So if we were at either of the 4 corners, we could really retract it, expand it, and that would continue or create these same dimensions. Whereas if we click on the right or left control, it will only go right or left, allowing you to widen or make it narrower. And then the same would apply to the control down below, top and bottom. Once I click in it, you can see we're going to want to select the font. It's pretty standard stuff. Go ahead and type Computer Fundamental Fridays. I'll press Control A on the keyboard to highlight all or select all. And let's change the font. Let's make it Haroni, and let's change font size. Now if that font size doesn't fully work for you, you can definitely highlight it again. Click inside the text box, press Control A on the keyboard. Instead of the presets, I wanted to just see if that would work. The nice thing about this is it will give you the actual size just by scrolling and selecting without having to actually click on it to select. So let's go with 48. I think that looks probably best. One other nice feature of this is the ability within the snap grid or the grid system. It lets you know where your text is aligned with the slide and where the horizontal and vertical areas correspond. So you can see on screen we have the dashed red line going vertical and horizontal. So that means that according to this, everything is in the exact space where it should be. And as you can see, I'm looking right now, and I don't think it's correct. You may run into that. It's perfectly fine. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm just going to adjust that just a little bit here. And what appears to me, I think that would be right about there. If you have text or an image, anything that you insert onto this slide or any other slides, if you would like to just kind of turn it a little bit, maybe if we want the angle of this to align with the laptop, let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to click on the control, and you can slide it however, in whatever direction you want to, kind of like that. And then if we were to adjust the size, let's just say, could do something like that. So just something simple. Kind of keeps things in alignment and gives you a little bit of that feng shui. Okay, very good. So we will move on to slide number 2. So we have our first slide. I'll point out, if you happen to have any slides that you want to realign or put in a different order, I should say, just click on it. You can click, drag, drop it, and then now we have what was slide 2 has now become slide 1, and what was slide number 1 is now slide number 2. So let's go ahead and change that back. Very simple controls. Okay, now this will be where you really want to get some basis for what you're going to do. There are a lot of different things that a lot of people really like and use. Sometimes they can really become overkill. Sometimes it's really a great idea to put emphasis into the way that text is presented, etc. So you want to keep in mind, you definitely don't want to overkill anything or make it too cheesy looking. You want to keep it as according to the people who you are presenting it to. You want to have their interests in mind whenever you're adding any of these options, such as transitions, animations. Let's go ahead and click on a transition. You can see what actually can be done, such as morphing, fading. Whenever you hover your cursor over each of these options, it tells you, gives you a brief description of what it will do. So just certain things to consider whenever you are working with these slides. For the animations, that would apply to the highlighted text and or images, etc. So transition is from slide to slide. So let me add a picture in here. Let's get a couple things going on here first. So we will go back to insert, but I'm going to click on slide number 1. I want to copy this text because it has the size, everything that I want. So I'm just going to Control C on my keyboard, go to slide number 2, press Control V. Now that has copied here. I want a different look on this as well as alignment. So we will call this February 2020. Control A to select all of the text. And here's where I want to see about increasing the size on that. So let's do February 2020. That looks pretty good. And we can even add an image. Let's add picture, select our logo, insert. See, it does automatically pop up with that design ideas, giving you some options. Very nice. I'm gonna shrink this down just a little bit. Let's make it right about there. Let's say we wanted this to just kind of have a template feel. So we have slide number 2 completed. Now we're going to go back to transitions because I want to show you how neat this is whenever it works with the image, the text, the logos, etc. Go to transition from slide to slide, and we shall choose, let's do curtains. So that is from slide 1 to slide 2. Transition there. Over on the left hand in the navigation, you can see the little play animations, this little star. If you click on that, that will play the animation. And as you present your presentation in slideshow, you see that down here at the bottom right hand corner. As you present this, as you advance to the next slide from slide 1, we go to slide 2, it will automatically play that transition for you. Okay, very good. So let's go ahead. I'm going to add another slide. Copy the slide or duplicate. I will drop that down below. Of course, any of these other transitions, feel free to apply whichever one that is best for the audience that you're presenting to. Okay, let's go back to home. Let's just see if we can cover a few things. Don't want to do things too basic. Sure, you would know about the death by bullet points, something that a lot of us have done in the past, where you have your header at top or your topic, bullet point number 1, copy that, press enter, control V, 2, sure you get the basis for this. You don't want to overkill, but you want to be able to bring across the point that you're wanting to be brought across. Of course, when we highlight or click inside the text, you would be able to modify the paragraph, text direction, do all sorts of different things. If you want to rotate it, rotate, stacked, etc. A lot of different options there for you. Then of course the font features, all based here. Other things that you can do is insert a drawing. You select any image that is located here. Let's click on swirly. So that was an actual drawing instead of that being an image or a scribble. So let's undo that. Let's get an image, and we'll just take the arrow. So if it were to come that if you needed an arrow, you have a drawing, you just left click, drag, still holding on to the left mouse button, just size it how you need it. If you wanted to point it back, click on that control, and you could go right there. Now over to the right, whenever you have these images, as long as you have it selected, you'll have the option to change or make changes to it. Say if you wanted a different color for that, you could certainly do that. So that applied that to the color. You can see here that it also has a line. So if you did not like that blue line, you'd want to get rid of that as well. And you could also do all sorts of different things. Let's make this somewhat transparent. Bullet point number 2. Let's stretch that one out. So just some things you can do within the drawing controls. Some other things as well. Moving right along, dictate. It's here to allow you to dictate and or use microphone for dictation in English and United States. Let's go ahead and right click. We shall duplicate slide and realign here. Slide number 4. Just leave that as it is. Okay, so we're moving right along. I think we've covered the home tab. Let's go to insert. This will be where you'll primarily be, I would think, unless you're kind of doing a standard basic presentation. It gives you a lot of features within this specific tab. What we can do, actually, let me go ahead, let me delete this text. You can, of course, once again, insert pictures. Shall not do that. Let's go. I am going to want to insert a video. Let's go ahead and do that. Okay, so this option will save you a lot of time, especially if you don't have a video editing software package. So we're going to insert a video but the feature I'm talking about is being able to trim the video that you're going to insert. So we're going to click on Insert. We're going to go all the way over to the right to Media, and we shall click on Video. If you happen to know the URL for online video, you can include that. I'm going to click on Video on my PC. You can see here I have an MP4 file. Select you, and it will insert it based on the size of that video, the dimensions and how the recording dimensions of it. So this is an older video. Has some interesting characteristics about it. Let's go ahead, because it has a black background right here, and I would, you may want to have some discrepancy on what you're doing with the background slide. Maybe you can keep it, that's certainly fine. To me it looks just a little too much. So I want to get rid of that background image. So I'm going to click on it, press delete on my keyboard, and I'm going to go over to the right where you see format background. Let's do a solid fill. I'm just going to do black. That looks better, looks more unison. And this will be where you're going to have a lot of benefit to this. Today's video lesson is brought to you by the Tennessee District Attorneys. Okay, so there we go. So we have the video is inserted. You should have been able to hear that system audio. And let's say this video, we're wanting to trim it. We're wanting to, say you insert a video, you've got an hour worth of it, but you only need 3 minutes of it. Well, this is where this is going to help you out tremendously. All you need to do is simply right click on the video, and you'll definitely want to always right click on things and just see what options are available, because the right clicking on the background will be different than what we see at the foreground here for the video. So if I right click here, you see there is no trim. If I right click on the video, I have style, trim, start, things that were not available right over here. So always do that in everything. Test things out, check to see what's available. I'm going to right click, left click trim. This will load a mini player that will allow you to choose the start time, if you happen to know it, or the end time. Say I just need 2 minutes of this video footage. The green selector, little control here, allows you to select the start time. And the nice thing is you have a little preview, so if you have an idea of the video time that you need, you can go through as you scroll. It should auto sequence that with that particular time in the video. So we're just going to make a selection. Say we wanted, instead of that intro, we wanted right there. So that's our begin time. If you happen to know the end time, simply click inside the value box, enter the end time where you would want that to finish up or finalize. So since I don't know that, I'm going to click on the control. Let me scroll that all the way over, see exactly where we need to go. And let's just say we wanted a couple minute segment. So I see I started at 144. Let's go to 249.86. How about that? Okay, after we've made that selection, you can go ahead and give it a test if you like. I click inside the start and end times. See the little aqua line, that is the actual time where we are at in the video. So if you wanted to preview it, just to make sure, and of course you could also click left to the previous frame, click play. Most of the files that you're given, this will be one example, this might not be all, but many of you, okay, So we've got the video at the point where we want it. Looks good. Got 1 minute and 5 seconds it appears. Let's go ahead, click OK. This will process that video. You can always adjust the size of it. Put it in the exact spot where you want it to be. And after you have that, you can go ahead, you can preview that video again. So there we go. Now, whenever you are working in slideshow, that will be based on the computer that you are working on. If you have a projector connected, if you click on slideshow, that will give you a screen that will allow you to preview the next slide, as well as evaluate the slide that you're looking in. Let me go ahead, I'm gonna pause the video, take a screenshot, kind of show you exactly what it looks like after we get into that, because it will be on a different monitor than what we're currently recording from. Alright, so whenever you click on the slideshow button, you'll see exactly, say if you're working on the same video that I am, you'll see an example exactly like this. When it comes to the point where you need for that video to play, all you have to do is just click on that slide, and that will play upon first click. If you click it again, it will stop the video, stop from playing. If you click it again, it will proceed within where you last clicked off. But of course, if you click once, let it play all the way to the end, you can then down here advance to the next slide. And you would find the same option when using explicitly audio inside that slide. Works the exact same way. So if I wanted to insert the audio, let's go ahead and get rid of this screenshot. Let's make a new, or duplicate another slide. Let's move it down below. And we shall get rid of this. Say we wanted to insert audio. Go back to the Insert tab, go all the way over to the right to Media, Audio. If you happen to have a microphone built into your computer, you can record your voice or anything that comes through the microphone, insert it right into this slide. In my case, I have an audio already. Just click on Insert Audio. This is an MP3. Insert it. This works very similar to the way the video worked. However, this option here, let's say if we wanted the whole thing, great. If not, you could also, once again, always right click on everything. You can also click for style. So currently no style is selected. If we wanted it to play in the background, that would play in the entire duration of this presentation. So let's click on trim. You can see if we wanted to trim some of the audio, have the exact same controls and options that we have that were available to us through the video, trimming video. So gives you that option there. So when it comes time to play this, just like the video, click on the play button and stop. So whenever it comes time, if you are in slideshow mode, just click on that slide. That will play the audio and then go through the duration unless you decide to click on it again to stop it. Okay, very good. Moving right along, let's go duplicate the same slide again. Drag you all the way down. Get rid of you. And I would say the most of these are pretty self-explanatory. If you want to insert a shape, click on the drop down, insert the shape. Icons goes out and allow you to locate any icon that you may want to insert into this slide. Next, 3D models. from a file or online sources. The next one that we're going to take a look at is chart. I can click on Smart Art, give you a list of options, as well as you can see within your heading if you wanted Smart Graphic, if you wanted to insert a list. Now let's go ahead and do that. Let's make a selection for that. It does it right here, and all you have to do is insert the text that you want to be displayed right here. Let's go prosecuted cases. If you click enter on your keyboard, it will present or automatically insert an additional row for you. Make sure you get the basis for that. So that'll be your insert Smart Art. A lot of other capabilities within that: matrix, pyramid, picture, etc. Pretty neat. The next one is a chart, and say if you needed to present something in a way to your audience where you had run an analysis over a duration of a certain amount of time and you needed to present that, this is a good way to do that. You can do a lot with this. So you can see here all of the charts. You have column charts. If you take your cursor, you can just hover over these. Well, I clicked on that one. If you hover over the actual chart, it will kind of do a blow up mode so you can see a little better. But if you click on these, you'll see just some of the preview of some of the different charts available to you. Click on pie. Let's go with this one. Say OK. This is where it incorporates Microsoft Excel. So you can see here we have sales, we have first quarter, second quarter, third quarter, fourth quarter. You can name these whatever you want to. Sales, let's go once again with our theme of prosecuted cases. First quarter, you could keep that. Let's use the numbers based on the cases that we have prosecuted. So let's say first quarter 55, second quarter 65, third quarter 70, and 60. All you have to do is just insert or click into that column or that cell and insert the number, and it'll give you a basis for exactly analyzing the data that you have evaluated over a certain amount of time. It's just a nice way to present that. Maybe just say one quarter we had 120. So sure, you can play around with it, use the numbers that you have factually found and present those in the fashion that works best for you. You can see right in the design tab, as you work on each specific image, etc., you'll have different options for you to make selection for the style of the chart or the image, etc., that you're currently working on. You can make an adjustment to that just by clicking and selecting. Makes it nice, quick and easy. Back to insert. This applies only to accounts that are associated with Office 365. This will have the ability to go and connect and insert forms and quizzes directly from your Microsoft Forms application. Okay, let's go and duplicate another slide yet again. Scroll down, drag that all the way to the bottom. Click and delete you. We are in insert, text box, header and footer. If you wanted to insert date or time, slide number, you could do that, or insert an object. Let's go slide number. If I click on that button, you can see that We have some options here. If we wanted to include the date and time, we just want the slide number. And if you were to select any of these other options, you'll see over here the preview that will show you exactly where that will be presented on the slide, as well as you can have it update automatically. So that would be the exact current date of the day that you are presenting, and exactly the format and how you wanted that to be shown. So we just want the slide number. We'll click apply, and only for this slide. If you want it to be applied to all slides throughout, click on the apply to all button. We'll apply it on each slide. And here you can see at the bottom right hand corner it has applied that slide number. We'll click above. We did not select it for all slides, so it is only present on this slide number 7. Header and footer acts the same way. Word art gives you some nice alternatives to the current fonts available through this. Calibri body goes 75. So pretty simple stuff. Okay, we are getting ready to wrap up, I do believe. I'm going to click on design, and this, you can see, it would allow you to change the design specifically for the background. It would keep your image but give you just some various options if you wanted to apply that. Of course, you could do this as the very first slide if you wanted to. Say we like that, and then I did select that, so it does apply that whole entire design to all of the slides. So if you want to remove that, just Control Z on your keyboard. That will remove all that. So keep an eye out for that, or remember that as you're going through that. The design applies to the theme, or it is a theme. It does apply to your entire presentation. Transition, covered a little bit of that. Animations, this will be where we animate specific things, whether it's the logo or, an image or the text. You can do a variety of things with this. So you would need to click on that actual option or control where you want that animation to begin. Let's click spin. You see over here it has one to show you that there is an animation. Over to the left in the navigation, if we wanted to play the animation, you see exactly by clicking on it exactly what that does. Alright, slideshow, instead of clicking the shortcut to slideshow down here, you could click on the slideshow tab, and then it does give you some features that the slideshow down below doesn't, where you can present from the current slide that you are in or from the beginning, as well as a variety of other things, especially if you wanted to prepare and rehearse before you presented this. You can certainly do that, kind of give you an idea for how many minutes it's going to take you to go through the presentation. Good feature to have. And another thing I'll notice as you go through this, if you don't necessarily want to have to look at the slide as you're presenting, or if there's information or details that you need to present as you are explaining the slide, you can add notes to this slide. And that is located right down here, the bottom right hand corner of your toolbar. Click on that, click here, and this is where notes go. You can add as many notes as you want to. You can adjust the size or height of that as you go through this, especially if you have a lot of data to go through. And the notes are present as you present this information. So if we click on the slideshow button, these notes will be available as you present. It's a very helpful tool. Slideshow review, adding comments, etc. would just apply it as you're building and designing this. Say if you were working on this presentation with someone and they needed to make a comment, just a way that you would be able to see who made the comment, how and why they would want to interpret or add a comment based on the slide. Maybe make an adjustment to it. Click on View. And some other basic things. Of course, if you wanted to see the actual ruler, grid lines, guides, get it as precise as you want to, certainly be an option for you. Some other features, and then other add-ins. I currently have Camtasia installed, and it is an option or an add-in available to the PowerPoint application. So if you happen to have that, you would have the capabilities to record and or use these features that are built in to PowerPoint after you have the application installed. And of course, help. One thing you may always want to go through, if you want to show training or see what's new, click on any of those, contact support, etc. All right, well, very good. I want to thank you for attending this Computer Fundamental Fridays training for Microsoft PowerPoint. General overview on how to use this application. Thank you very much. Have a wonderful day.